Oh, where are we, guys? Where is this? We're back again to pick up another car to continue our flipping series. I showed you what it was last time. It was a 2008 Honda Odyssey. Now we're gonna check to see what we got ourselves into and exactly what we can do to get it ready for sale. Let's get to it. What's up? My name is Jamal from Flipping University. In this channel, I help people that might not have too much mechanical experience go from immature to expert flipping cars so that they can build a life of freedom. And just to get right into it, this dealership does look a little bit different. The other dealership, I believe it was like a Chevy dealership. I got it from before. This is a used car dealership, but it does have some nice cars. As you can see, there's a Range Rover right there and a bunch of other cool cars in the front as well. But we're not here for those cars, right? We're here to check out my car. And this is what it is. It's a 2008 Honda Odyssey. It looks like the inspection sticker just finished up, but let's take a quick walk around and see what the overall condition is. There is a couple of small scrapes on the side there, and of course we can't forget about that little thing right there. Looks like the bumper's probably being held on a little bit by this red beautiful tape. All right, so this is the interior. This is actually the fully loaded model, so it has the leather seats, it has a moon roof up top. This is going to be great for the little soccer moms out there. It has a climate control in the middle, but I will say, I mean, it is leather, so it shouldn't be as crazy to detail, but it definitely will need a good detail. You could see, honestly, usually with these vans, this is how it is because they have families in there and everything. You know, you got the kids dropping all this food and all that stuff. So yeah, we're definitely going to be having to go through a decent amount for the detailing process. But at least they got some good Coca-Cola in there ready for us. But generally, before I leave with the car, if I'm picking it up and I bought it from ACV Auctions, before I leave, I usually try to just do a quick check over with the car because you could report it. Like if there was a problem that came up with the car, it's a serious problem that wasn't reported in the description, you could report it after you take it home and try to arbitrate it and possibly get your money back and all. But it would be easy to do it if you report it before you even take it off the lot. So that's what I'm gonna try to do here, just to make sure everything is all good. And then we're gonna drive it home and go on with everything else. So first, let's just start it up. Now I will say with this one, this is a little bit different. First of all, it does stink in here. I'm not too surprised, being that it was pretty dirty inside. But with this one, there is actually an engine light that's on. It's not really showing in the dashboard now, but there is a code that did come up. I'm gonna show what the code was for. It was some type of sensor. It shouldn't be a big fix, but there was a bit of a mechanical fix that is gonna be needed as well. But we're gonna go through the routine stuff, check to see if everything works, and everything should work as normal. All right, so now we're just gonna pop the hood, check to see how everything is under here. I will say it is running a little bit rougher, most likely because of the knock sensor, but I'll look a little bit more into that once I get it home. But this is really kind of to be expected, but I'm still gonna check for leaks, the normal thing, and it looks like there is none. I also already checked under the engine cap and the dipstick just to make sure that's looking good too. It's not any blown head gasket or anything like that. And there's also no leaks coming from underneath. And I checked underneath the car as well, and there was also no serious rust or anything like that. So everything is basically what I expected. Now I'm just gonna take the car home, or possibly even before I get home, I might actually just take it to the car wash just because it's basically on the way, just to save some time. And that'll be the next thing. I mean, this thing is pretty filthy, so you might have a little bit of a job to get everything ready for sale as well. We can't sell it as it is. It's way too bad to give to somebody. Oh, and as a very quick thing too, I'm gonna throw on a quick screen share of what it was like with the listing itself for the car as well. Again, with ACV, they're very in depth with what the car looks like, so I'll show, you know, some of the pictures of it. I mean, the code that came up in the system, that's what they showed as well. They also showed there was no iron readiness codes that were like incomplete, and that stays true with what I cleared, with what I scanned up in the system and everything. So everything is as what I saw it was on the description. All right, so now we're at the car wash again to get this filthy thing washed up. Again, I'm not gonna go with the full detail right now, but this is just gonna be the wash, and I'm probably just gonna be doing the vacuuming and everything while I'm here. And yeah, I mean, there's a good amount of stuff to vacuum, so let's just bring it through the wash now. Okay, so we just brought it through the car wash, Is it looking completely different? No, no, it's definitely not. But it is looking a touch better now. It's not as much things just kind of cluttered around the inside. Everything is still pretty filthy, realistically. A lot of dirt and grime and stuff like that everywhere, but we'll get to that after. First, usually what I like to do before anything else is get to the mechanical stuff if there is any mechanical problems. So we're gonna get to that knock sensor replacement first. And from what I saw, what I have to do to get to that knock sensor, it's not a crazy amount, it's probably like a 30-minute job, but I have to take all this off. I basically have to take off the whole intake manifolds to get to it, and then it's basically right under this. I already have the sensor and everything, so I'll try to get the replacement first and just kind of document some of the process. This isn't going to be like, let me turn it all around again. This isn't going to be like a quick full-on process of it. There's plenty of other videos out on YouTube that go a lot more in depth about that. But I'll show you some of the highlights of what I'm doing. Okay, so that's the little piece right there. That's the little sensor. I'm gonna try to focus in on it a little bit. But I actually saw what probably happened. It's not even really the sensor itself. It's really just the connector that goes to the sensor. It actually looks like probably maybe like an animal or something like that might have snipped at the wire, and the wire got disconnected. So I'm gonna have to get one not only with the sensor part there, but one that has the wire connecting to it too. Okay, so this is what the old one's looking like. As you can see, it's all snapped off. The wire is all frayed and everything like that. Probably just some mice got to it. That's usually like a common thing with these cars as well. It's not really protected that well. But there's a new one I got from Amazon. It's really cheap. It's only like 20 bucks for it. Of course, I'll be taking that off of, you know, what we have into the series and everything as well. But yeah, it's actually a stronger cable as well. That's also going to be protected from the mice and everything. So, you know, for the next person that buys a car, they should be better. And now I'm just putting the rest of the stuff back on, piecing it back together. I put the valve cover back on. Now I'm putting the whole exhaust manifold on too. And boom, I just put all that back together. Now I'm gonna move on to the side here. This should be able to put back together in like a couple minutes also. It's just the intake and all that. And voila, everything's back together. I had to just make sure all the fittings were back together too. All the sensors that I disconnected before, like this one, like that one back there, this one here. If everything's good, I put the battery back on. Now we're gonna start it back up and see how it starts up. Let's see. Okay, looking good. And the check engine light that was there before is gone. I'm gonna check the codes after I drive it around for a little bit to make sure it's actually gone. So now that we're done with the mechanical part, which is the only really mechanical fix that we had to do with this, now we're gonna get on to the detailing. And I will say really quick for the people that are just starting up with flipping cars and stuff, if you don't know much mechanically, this is the type of stuff that you should start off with. Not anything crazy like changing a transmission or something like that. This is probably like an hour that it took me in total. I had to stop, well, basically after I shot some of the video, just because I needed to order the part, and then some of the days it started raining, and actually because of that I wasn't able to push out the video as early as I wanted to. But it is what it is with that. But this is the type of fixes regardless that you should be trying to do, not anything too crazy. I really would say that was only about half the work. Now we're gonna get on to detailing, and with this there is a good amount of detailing. As we said, this is a van, so it's already going to be a lot more to the work, but we're going to follow around the same process, just a little bit more in depth, a little bit more to do. We'll say though, I'm definitely glad that these are leather seats. If this was like cloth seats instead, this would have been a longer process as well. You know, I definitely will say I can't wait to see what this looks like after everything is finished, all detailing, because these carpets are looking so nasty. But before we get to those carpets and all, we're going to do the regular thing first. We're going to get to the spots up here along the dashboard, along these side panels. So of course we got to start it off with the brush before anything. Now the people that's already subscribed to the channel probably already know part of the process I'm going to be doing, but I'm just going along that same process here. I'm going to be doing a little bit more for the detailing part, just because this is a little bit higher priced vehicle. I could probably sell this around like 4,000 or so. So you could stand by, you know, to see exactly what extra stuff I do to just make it pop a little bit more. But the first thing is just gonna be using this. We're gonna wipe it down with some all-purpose cleaner, and of course we'll be using a brush to actually get a little bit deeper of a clean. So boom, 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 spray along everything. Of course, avoiding anything that's electronic. And time to brush it down. And of course, we're just gonna do a little wax on, wax off type action. And of course, we're following that same process with the back as well. Now, if you look here, this part is way too filthy to just be using some regular products for. We're gonna have to use something else to do all that right there. So we're gonna switch it up real quick. So for that, we have this. It's just a steam gun. Also, you can get it from Amazon, very cheap. It's only like 20 to 30 bucks. But it's gonna make things a lot easier for these type of spots. Not only does it clean it well in terms of getting the gunk out, but it also will disinfect it, of course, because it's high heat. But we're just gonna plug it in here for a good while, let it heat up, and then spray it along here. After the steam loosen it up a good amount, of course, first it'll actually clean off a good amount by itself, but then you could also come behind it with the rag and wipe off some of the remains. And I definitely wouldn't have been able to do it that easily if I was just trying to wipe it down by itself. And of course, we're not just gonna do there's also some other filthy spots that you really can't get out with just scrubbing either, just like between these seats, as well as in between here. And I'm sure you saw, but after using the steamer and then wiping it down a little bit, it's definitely looking like much better than before. I'm still not completely done with it. I'm still gonna wipe it down a little bit more, but this again would not have came out if I just did the cloth by itself. And now that everything is looking nice and clean on that whole dashboard part and everything, now we're gonna follow it up with the polish. We're gonna use the Meguiar's Supreme Shine Protectant. This will give it a nice shine after. So this one we're just gonna do around the same process, but we're not gonna use the brush with this one. This is more of a glaze, so we're just gonna spray it along everything first and then simply wipe it off after. Time to start moving to these filthy carpets. There's plenty of different stains all over the car, and with this one, I mean, it's a van again, so it's a good amount to clean, a decent amount more, but we do have our little process that'll make things a little bit easier. So the simple process I'm going to be following is I have this product right here. This is the P&S Carpet Bomber. This is a very good detailer. You could use this for all the upholstery stuff. Then I'm going to go behind it with this drill after spraying it down. And then, of course, with how filthy this isn't going to be enough. We're also going to need that extractor to get out the remaining dirt. So we're just going to be spraying it along everywhere. Of course, with this, we're going to have to really soil everything. And drill time. And lastly, for the extractor, we have just hot soapy water in here. Let's turn it on. I'm gonna spray it down first and then start sucking everything out after. And voila, things are looking a lot better than it was before. I mean, you guys remember how dirty it was. I mean, it's still not perfect, I will say. Realistically, I'm gonna be selling this probably around like more in the fair condition. I'll go to the pricing and everything in a second of how I'll be pricing it out. But realistically, this would need a lot more work to it that I really wouldn't want to take all the time for to get this into like perfect condition. Overall, it's still a lot better than it was before. It still could be a great family van for somebody. And I'm definitely impressed with how it came out. On the outside, it's still not a busted up thing. I actually don't even really have to buff out the headlights with this one. It looks like the headlights were probably changed pretty recently. But as you can see, even on the body, there's still like some scratches and different things like that that can kind of be seen. Can't see it too much on camera, but even things like here, there's a good amount more work that would have to be done to really get this into like perfect condition. So realistically, I'm probably going to sell it, but just at a lower price point rather than having to dump another like 5 to 10 hours into making this perfect to sell. I will say, if this was my only car I was selling and the only thing I was doing, then I probably would put in the time to just sell it for a little bit more and put, you know, more of an emphasis to make it a better looking car. But realistically, I have a lot of other things I'm doing as well, and I can't dump all my time into this right now. Okay, so I'm here just at a local parking lot that's around me. I am going to be taking the pictures here. I usually don't take it at a spot that's right in front of my yard or something. It usually doesn't look too professional. So I'm gonna take it here and I'm gonna show you a couple of pictures of what it looks like on screen, and then we'll get on to the next thing. Alright, so now I'm gonna post it up. I'm mainly gonna be using Facebook Marketplace to post it, and from what it looks like, checking Kelly Blue Book and everything, I'd say I'm probably gonna post it up around like $4,000 and try to sell it around there. The car isn't in like the most best condition, so I'm not gonna try to like upgauge the price too much. So $4,000, if somebody can give me around that, that'll be more than good enough for me. I'll still be making a pretty good profit for it. I'd say basically, to me, honestly, if I can get over $1,500 profit, I'm good. And all in, we're probably around like $2,100 into the car. And as another thing, we still didn't sell the Hyundai Sonata just yet. I will be selling it soon. I'm sure there's people that's gonna be coming in pretty soon to just check it out and everything, but I did have to wait a decent while just for the title to come, so that was why there was a bit of a hold up with that. But I am sure by the next video and probably by the next week, we should have possibly both of them sold to be able to go back to the auction and do the whole thing over again. And if you did want to learn how you could get into dealer-only auctions yourself without having your own dealership, you can go to the link in the description below. It's what I would mainly suggest going for instead of having to be bouncing all over the place, going to private sale sellers and dealing with all the people that be lying about cars. It honestly did help me a lot. This whole process would take a lot longer if I was going through private sale with all these cars. But yeah, like I said, you can go to the link in the description, type in your email, you'll get it sent directly to you. But alright, I hope you are following me along this whole process and doing this yourself as well. Don't just be sitting on your butt. Do this yourself, start flipping some cars yourself, and of course, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell to be alerted when the next video drops. And until next time, I'll see you.